This is Craig.
And Wendi.
And Ann.
And Keith.
And we are ghost hunting in Charleston, South Carolina.
On a very muggy and very sticky day.
It is quite muggy. Our hair isn't doing as instructed, but we're not letting that stop us.
No way.
We're searching for the hauntedest ghosts in all of Charleston. And we're going to the cemetery. Somewhere. We may not be able to get in the cemetery because they don't let you in after dark, but we can actually look through the fence and we can use the ghostometer to see if we can find them.
To the left.
To the left we go. First we're going by the Powder Magazine, where a lot of people died.
New Orleans.
Craig keeps finding it.
Hey, whereas in New Orleans, we actually found it.
That's
what?
Keith.
What did he find?
He's talking about the differences between here and New Orleans.
Oh yeah, there are some. Some, but not a lot.
He's discussing the differences right now between the historic districts.
Oh yeah. They are, there's some similarities for sure.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
This one smells a lot less like piss. That's kind of a plus, a bit of a bonus.
The French Quarter in New Orleans being what it is, being built up very much so like South Carolina, having to be up on the, built up on the sand like it is, and having to be shored up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spooky stuff dealing with the dead.
There's some of that around here. Sometimes the water comes up over the what used to be the seawall. In fact, they dump all the ballast from the old ships into the harbor and actually added on like 400 feet of land.
Yes.
So there's even more South Carolina than there used to be, which is kind of cool. We're at the Powder Magazine here. And what that is this very unusual shaped building. And there's an old British cannon there. If you'll notice, they've knocked what's that thing stuck in the front end of the cannon? I forget what they call those, the parts that sit in the cannon cradle. Anyway, they knocked those off the sides of the cannon and they stuffed one in there and beat on it with a sledgehammer till the cannon was basically unusable.
They took out the firing pin.
Yep, you'll never be able to shoot balls out of that again. But that's, I think I could make it work. Give me a couple hours.
You'd have to take all the cement out of it.
Yeah, that's going to require a bigger drill than I have.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool shot. Look at that. There's the church.
The church that is a 1 full degree off to the left.
Why is that, do you suppose?
Oh, that is because there was a earthquake here.
Oh my gosh.
In 1836.
Okay,
there was an
so
earthquake.
1836, an earthquake actually off-centered that church by 1 degree.
By 1 degree.
That's pretty awesome.
And depending upon what side of Charleston you are on, that will tell you whether you are north or south. Because if you are on the south, it will be leaning to your left. If you are on the north, it will be leaning to your right.
That's kind of crazy. You don't want to be standing under that the next time there's an earthquake.
There you go.
That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. There's the pillory. Sometimes we like to stick our necks in there.
Just for
on
fun.
that. We have pictures to prove it.
Yeah.
We stuck our little heads in there.
Yeah, I couldn't get
it's-
mine out for several days. It was embarrassing.
But there were no chains.
Children threw things at me.
But there were no chains.
I have gum in my hair.
But it was, someone has to lift it. It's kind of hard to lift on your own.
Well, that cannon doesn't have the plug in it.
Yes, but where's the firing pin?
Oh, you just got to stick a piece of fuse in it. We could drill that out. I got a Dremel. We could make that. We could make that work. What do you say? What are you guys doing? Should we
We
just
wondered
go?
what you guys were doing.
We're gonna.
We went on ahead
Where did y'all
looking
go? What
And
were
it's
y'all
like,
doing?
where are they going?
Oh, we're just having fun
It's a
here.
9-pound cannon right there. We
Right
could
there.
shove some ball in there.
Just like.
Get somebody's attention. Anyway, we're cruising off to the next haunted cemetery, and we're going to see what we can find.
And I climbed up so I could read the top of them.
This is the haunted church
Anne's neck.
where the dead prostitute is buried here, face down, so if she tries to dig her way out of the grave, she'll just keep going deeper. And what do you know?
It's open.
What do you have?
Shall we?
We shall
We
indeed.
shall.
All right. This is Craig
And Ann.
And Wendy.
And Keith.
and Keith.
Okay.
Okay, we're going into the haunted cemetery. We have the ghostometer. It is on.
Yes, and
Hey, we're going to do Southern New Orleans. Hanged.
it's the Hainted. It's the Hainted Cemetery.
Haunted cemetery.
Hainted.
Now, right here is the office, also known as the orifice. And in this church is where
What is it?
Josie Danforth is buried.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell you this. I told you guys the story about Josie Danforth, the Crimson Runaway. She was supposed to be married to a very abusive man. He was very rich and powerful, but she decided at the very last minute she didn't want to be married to him. And right there at the altar, she ran away and jumped in the carriage and rode it through town, trying to get to her mom's house.
Yes.
And the carriage broke down, or the horse stopped, something along those lines. We don't really know why, but it stopped. And when she got out, she started running through the street, and she was getting just filthy and dirty and covered in mud and tearing her wedding dress. But suddenly the horse started up again and started pulling the carriage along behind her, and with that broken wheel, it ran over her and basically cut her in half right there in the muddy old cobblestone street. And the only thing that held her body together was the boning in her corset, the whalebone. And so she ended up, dying in the street, cut into two pieces, trying to get herself put back together. And anyway, they drug her over here and they buried her, I think in one grave. Probably two, but maybe one. And I don't know which one this is, but she's buried here, somewhere in this haunted cemetery. And we have the ghostometer. We're going to look for the ghost of Josie Danforth.
Yeah, well, I don't feel her.
This is the StarTech 47,
Yes.
and we are with guest host
Yes.
Wendi and Keith. And we are here in Charleston, South Carolina, and we're going to have a lot of fun tonight looking for any kind of spirits we can find. If you'll notice, some of these crypts are cracked in two. That's a telltale sign that a vampire was trying to escape it. In case you didn't know what that means, that's what that is. Let's set this on here and see if it lights up.
A lot of died here.
A lot of people died here.
There's a dead rat.
Oh, we found a body in the cemetery. Well, that's nasty. It smells a little. It smells a bit like a Waffle House. Don't know if that's right. Now, if you'll notice here, here's Jean Laguerre. Here lieth, in fact, Jean Laguerre. Let's see, he died, what was it, age 32 years, 1732. Let's see here. Sometimes these older crypts, it's hard to get a spirit to come out. They've been dead for so long, they just don't interact anymore. Or maybe they're dissipated.
He was age 32 when he died.
Yeah, but he died in 1732.
Yep.
So he was born in 1700 even.
Yep.
Who would have known he would be the exact same age as the year he died? That's almost crazy. Let's see if he's here. Jean Laguerre, can you hear me from beyond the grave? Are you with us tonight? Say boo. This is not an accurate depiction. This is just what they carved on the tombstone. It's not really what he looked like. It might be what he looks like now, but not at the time of death. Now let's go over here. This one is actually busted open. Another telltale sign of vampire activity. See that? I heard what sounded like a fairy chime. Cracks in this. See if you can't read them. You don't know who's in here anymore. Let's see. Are you with us here, Mr. Person buried in this big old crypt?
It's upside down. I wanted to be able to read what's on
Oh, I can't, even if you're standing the right direction. It's
I
so
tried.
broken and busted up. Can't even read what's on there.
No. It's just so old. I couldn't make it out.
Here lie the old decrepit bones of some poor sod.
It's so old you
I know
can't
you
read it.
can't even make it out.
And it's been chunked so many times.
Yeah.
It's only so much chunking a crypt can take.
May. I'll say 06.
06 maybe?
May, but
1706?
that's what we're trying to figure out.
We're trying
Is
to
that
figure
17?
out.
Is that 17 or
It's
1806?
either 17 or 18. I want to know. I would say probably 18.
Certainly possible. That's like right, kind of post-Revolutionary War, which is where a lot of these graves.
Yep.
This is a cemetery where some people that signed the Declaration of Independence are buried here, the Unitarian Church. What do you feel, Wendy? Are you picking up any vibes?
Actually, I am from somewhere over here.
Over there. I felt a little bit the first time we came over there.
Yeah, the last time I felt draws to that area too. Now here's another old, we'll take a break here. Mr. John Young, he's a mariner. Oh, maybe that's his last name. John Young Mariner. Born in, what was that? Berkshire, in Old England, aged 40 years, and died in Charlestown, South Carolina.
Yes,
See, that's what's
Berkshire.
really cool, is it says Charlestown.
That's the original
That's how they used to
name,
call it.
Charlestown.
This was 1768.
That's before the revolution.
March 8th, 1768. He died before the Revolution. Yeah, with the Charlestown. Before they changed it to Charleston, I guess just to make it updated. Once again, not an accurate depiction. Just a skull on a tombstone.
You can read this one too. A couple died in 1700.
Let's take this out. William Ellis,
Died during the
late of Charlestown. Yep, merchant. Says he was a merchant even. It explains who he was a little bit, which is kind of neat. He died in December 19th, 1772.
And look at his wife a year later, thereabouts.
1773, yep. Almost exactly.
That's, you said what now? Isaiah, what now?
Isaiah. Oh, you can't even read it. It's broken to pieces.
I said if it was something, you just can't read it. It's so
Yeah.
worn out.
Somewhere in this tomb lies the body of someone that no one remembers.
And there's nothing up here to tell you.
Missed it by 3 years.
Yank. Slam the door. So I get some used to it sometimes and kind of jaded
That was,
about it.
yeah, that was at our house.
That's at home. We get stuff all the time. I've reached down thinking there was a kitty cat next to the sofa when we're relaxing at night.
Right.
And I go, oh, hey, Zinky, and it's like nobody's there.
I've done the same
Had
thing,
me
which
on
is
this
why I
other
can
one,
verify
it's like,
that.
okay, which one is it?
I've done the exact same thing. In fact, not even a week ago, I think I was
Yeah,
doing
you
the
did
same
it.
thing. I
It happened to
I
you.
was reached down to touch the cat because I felt it walk by me,
See?
and there was no one there. The cats just, I know, looked all around the room. I was like, they can't escape without you seeing them. It's just impossible. But there's some kind of
There's a
little
lot
fur
of
baby
peripherals.
running around the
You've
house.
seen the little girl. I've never seen the little girl.
It's the one time I saw a little girl run through, or not walk, kind of walk
She's kinda
fast
walky,
from the
but-
dining room past the doorway I was looking at into the foyer area.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of stood there like, that was weird. I know there's no little girl in the house.
But there was.
I'm like, okay, I guess that was a ghost. And it's strange because normally you think you'd jump at something like that.
We're just so.
And I'm just like, huh, that was
There's
really weird.
nothing malevolent. It's nothing malevolent.
It was a very weird
We
feeling
know
to
this.
try and
It's just
explain.
People passing through.
Although the thing that sounds like a body falling in the floor up in the hallway,
That's the only one that bothers me.
that's not
That
comfortable.
one bothers me. It's usually they wait until I'm there by myself.
What over here were you feeling that kind of,
What were we fit?
yeah, show me where that was.
In this open space, actually.
What were you sensing?
He's heading through.
Yeah, we both.
It's almost like
This empty space?
right in here. Something's trying to speak, but it's not coming through at all. It's just very weak.
Let me try the
Very
ghostometer.
hushed.
And it's confused. I get confused.
I know it's not really called that, but I like to call it the ghostometer. Okay, let's see. Is there any spirits wishing to communicate with us in this spot of the cemetery? If there is, you can reach out for this black box that I set on the grass, and I'll know you're communicating.
Come on.
Is there anyone here?
Yeah.
Let me
think
just
it's
step
just
back.
too
Maybe
weak.
my
Or
energy's
something's
kind of
going
crowding
on.
it too.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll be able to see it. Let me zoom in.
I'm not feeling arms. I'm not.
No, it's not arms, but it's like an energy that they can't surmount. And they're chattery, they're yapping, but it's just weak, and something is like sort of muting them. Something else.
What
So
I'm
I'm
trying
saying
to figure out
it's
about this
multiple
tombstone is dumped in the same hole, or they're along the hole here.
No, there's several voices.
It is, it's multiple.
It's like they're layered or stacked or mixed together.
And something else is preventing them
'Cause
coming through.
These two tombstones, this one here is a
The one you
Mary.
Indicate on there.
It's 1745 it looks like, right? And then 1765 is next to it.
1765 is the one on the right.
Yeah, that's 1765. Let me get down here so I can see it. And this one looks like it's 43. I thought it was a 45. This is 1745. It's Ms. Mary Lamble. Oh, Lamble. Okay, I can see. Sorry, it's hard to see. Miss Mary Lamble, 1743. And we can't see. You saw it flicker?
It was just lame. It was weak.
Very.
Well, that'd kind of be consistent with what you're
what we're
feeling
saying.
here, too. When did it happen? When I said Mary Lamble?
No, it was when you were kneeling over there, but it wasn't right at that instant.
It was an
It
ant
doesn't mean
on
it wasn't her.
Let's see here. Mary Lamble, are you?
See?
Well, I tapped it
was
against
you,
the
man.
grave, though.
Oh, that's right.
Sometimes when you tap it, it just kind of goes.
off.
That's what I'm guessing that was, but
No, you're right.
let's see. Mary Lamble, are you here with us tonight? This is your opportunity to speak with the living once again, even if it's just in the form of letting us know you're here. The way these gravestones are oriented, you'd think they were laying like right here, maybe right where we're standing.
That goes back to this question. Here, are they piled on top of each other?
That's what I wonder.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder.
So we don't know. Are they?
Oh, look at this. Look how close it is to these crypts. And then you have these three squished together right next to it.
Yeah.
You know, what was that? Or maybe over the years, certain things have been moved.
That maybe that's not the original resting
Placement, right.
place. They went with the best whatever records they had and tried to make it happen.
They could have just been, the stones could be off by several feet. We don't really
Yeah,
A
know.
lot of that sort of thing has been done over the years. It's terrible.
Well, especially in these old cemeteries. Let's see if we can get anything from over here. Now, one that catches my attention every time is this one.
Well, yeah.
You see there's a broken tombstone right here.
And then you
Yeah,
have
there's-
this rambling.
This very long,
It's crazy.
what's that name?
The name is Richard and Mary Savage.
Richard Savage. Well, oh, I see. Mary. Okay, and
They're
Richard.
the sons of Richard. His name is John, what's the middle name?
Clifford Savage.
Clifford Savage.
And you can see inside the crypt here.
Yeah, we looked inside last time.
I don't see any bones. I do see ants.
But his woe-begotten tail here is...
He's a woe-begotten tale. Unfortunately, it's too long to read. It's like some of those bad memes that you're sure they're funny, but you just can't invest in them.
The hasty stride of unrelenting fate. Dire decrees all human art was yea. It's just bizarre. Fail the healing tray, but happy youths by death made truly great. Had life
Beginneth,
link to its
ends
utmost
unto its
date.
utmost date.
What had they lived
known?
known but
Sorrow,
no.
path, and woe.
yeah.
The curse,
The curse?
entailed, O Adam's raid.
Below.
Rage, that's a G.
Rage.
It's worn
And look
off.
at this.
Rage
Something
below.
else etched above that.
Raft, something.
They
They're only safe who throw
Throw
death's oaths, who through death's
who
oaths
through death's oaths.
have and reached those joys that
Evermore will hast.
more will hast how
Now vain, or how vain is man.
man.
How fluttering are his joys, when what moment gives the next.
what one
one
I think that's
moment
an N, it's
gives
just chipped.
the next. He writes off the slave.
Destiny.
Yeah. Hope and
and
despair
despair.
fill up his round of life, and all his joys are one continual strife. It's just like, this is sad.
This is very sad. Richard or Mary Savage, are you still in this grave?
I think
Are you
it-
still somewhere within the vicinity of this grave, I should say, where your bones lieth beneath this
This
slab?
is 3 brothers.
Oh, 3. And a girl, Mary?
Clifford, William, and
Dandridge.
Dandridge Richard.
Dandridge?
Dandridge Richard. Three brothers.
All buried in the same box. Is there any spirits here at this grave wishing to communicate with us tonight? That's a very, very sad tale of woe, and it involves
It
a
is.
curse.
Very sad. They're all lives of woe and sorrow, and
This is a written out complete curse.
Yeah.
that's what I think.
Well, I mean, certainly from a craft perspective, it has
There are no quotation marks.
None.
none.
This is one complete diatribe.
Yeah, there's
It is,
no.
it's just like,
The only period is like in reference to the month and days, but it's not like the sentence ending period. It's just the kind.
No,
It's just
it's-
one long run-on sentence, which is how you write a curse.
it is.
And the word curse, the curse
right there, they
entailed
included the curse word.
on Adam's rage below. They're only safe
When the
when wind throw death, when through death's oaths have and reached those joys. It's hard to read when it's all one big long sentence. It's hard to really decipher. Wow,
I'm telling you.
look at this one. Yeah, that one kind of grabbed our attention last time we were here because of just the sheer strangeness of the crypt, and also being able to see inside of it. I mean, you can't really see the bones. If there were any, they probably decomposed long ago because it's such an old grave. It's
either
250 years
somebody was
old.
incredibly just
Elements and time probably took care of that.
Yep. Their dust is remaining in the grave. That's about it. But
either somebody was incredibly intelligent or somebody was incredibly screwed.
yep.
Because that is pure out.
It
Yeah.
is, that's the way it's written. Exactly.
This grave right here, and that's probably why we were so attracted to it the first time. We hadn't really spent a lot of time deciphering it.
Sacred to the memory of Dr. Richard Savage, who departed this life in the 26th of December 1789, aged 40 years and 9 months and his 28 days. And then, of course, they got something down there.
This is probably the father, Savage.
Well,
Yep.
the father, yeah, Richard.
How do you
Savage
interpret
father.
that curse, that stone? What do you think of that? What did you think it means? I'm still mulling it over.
Well, I think they're cursed in death.
I do.
They were cursed in life, and now they're cursed in death. That's what I think.
I feel like putting this right here.
Apparently there was a lot of stuff that happened to these brothers. Some very heavy stuff. And
They were
apparently
involved in some mojo.
Something was up. And they were cursing everybody around them that had any kind of brightness or happiness in
That's
their lives.
what I think.
Well, see-
and so they went to their graves with a curse on them.
William Dandridge, born in London,
Dandridge.
1708. And the only reason I make the connection, William Dandridge, John Clifford, after the illness departed November 1764, age 57. He was a loving, and that's about when it gets to get hard to read. These folks are kin to Dad.
Yes, they are. They're the ancestry, if you will.
Well, and
These three brothers,
Something wrong.
something wrong with
Yeah.
these boys.
I'm also wondering too, that name Dandridge. Maybe I got the name wrong for the Crimson Runaway, which was Danforth, which I was thinking it was, but I may have been wrong. It may have been Dandridge.
There
That's what I wanted to say originally, but I didn't think it was a name.
Somehow I feel like
Maybe.
Clifford,
That could be the case.
Clifford
Yeah.
Dandridge and Savage have a connection.
Definitely.
Wasn't Dandridge one of the names of one of the more upper start families of Charleston?
I cannot remember the two. I don't think I
We've gotta
Dandridge I
do
can
some
think about
looking
it.
when we
I'm
get
thinking
back.
of
We
Brundage
need to
down
do
in
some
Okay.
homework.
LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
which
it would
is
be
not clicking
interesting
with me.
to see.
Well, isn't it interesting too? It just occurred to me.
Go ahead.
Look, the front of all of their ancestors, they've got their backs to these three.
Yeah. So what's going on there?
What's on?
Were they tortured? Were they mean? Were they
They
hateful?
turned their
Were
back.
were they mean, hateful sons that they had to take out, which they won't not necessarily
Yeah, these
saying that.
Dandridges
Well, I'm saying
are
this is the
buried
family-
here.
The family sons or kinfolks
be
or cousins, nephews, niece, nephews, and they decided they needed to take them out, and that's
Yeah.
why they sit backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I didn't notice that before. But that's all back to them. I
Backwards.
remember that
Yeah.
these were the ancestors.
Yeah,
It's like,
they did say
their
that
backs
they
are
put them, they have a place for them, but they put them to the back.
So these Dandridges were buried behind the rest.
Three of them
Together.
That was noteworthy to me before too. They're all together. They didn't even get the honor of their own grave.
Which, you know, based upon the lengthy inscription carved into this piece of slate, that they weren't really hurting for money. They could have easily bought 3 grave plots.
Yes, it's not a money issue.
This was an intentional thing.
Have a crypt.
What I feel
It's-
is it's a sentence.
It is. This is.
Yeah, it's just one big long
This is
prison
like-
sentence.
It's a sentence.
This is what you
Yep.
get for what you did in life.
Whatever they did in life, that's their sentence.
So we're thinking that there's some kind of a curse attached to this grave. Somebody was aware of whatever witchcraft or something that they were involved with, some kind of dark magic.
It's dark. I think they were probably possessed.
Just dark beings. They might have been possessed by demons, possible, something like that. But it's, yeah, it's definitely telling. Something creepy here. I wish I could just get some reaction. There may not be anything left here on a spiritual level. Maybe just this stone is all that's left of the memory of the cursed brothers and why they were buried here in one grave, with the parents and other family members being buried individually. It's a very unusual story. However, we still have not found the Crimson Runaway. We can't be 100% certain. Her name was Danforth, or if it was something else. We're not sure. I mean, I'm only going from memory. So, but there's a lot of graves here that are also very unreadable. So we don't know if we may have seen it or not. Where the Crimson Runaway was buried, we don't know for sure. However, we seem to have found at least one root of whatever the curse was. And that in and of itself is pretty exciting,
Did
actually.
you think so? Did you
Huh?
feel the energy that you felt had any connection to that? I didn't.
No.
Not at all to that family or anything.
What was the, yeah, that one plot was a whole different zone.
You want to think? What's that? Oh, Archie's son from the family? Yes.
Yeah. And we thought this was weird too. How about that punk? That's weird. Just sitting here.
It's hard to read these.
They're so old.
Well, and this isn't a nicely designed or created or crafted crypt. It's actually kind of just a pig of a crypt.
Yeah.
It
It's-
doesn't even have any names on it. We couldn't find any names last time.
There's no names on this, so don't know what this might be. I'm getting a little bit of green blinkage there, not much.
It has no identifying information. And it's weird. It's not like anything else in this yard.
No, and I feel like it is a burial chamber of some sort, but for somebody that they wanted forgotten, but also buried securely.
Well, see, back then they were great believers
thinking
in
vampires.
burying even the
Yes.
evil. They buried everybody.
Yeah.
But they also took time to be able to mark said grave. I mean, even if it was someone that was
Now here's the
unpleasant.
thing. If they then die, if you can look it up. You know, Sherry used to look it up. Find out who's in that group.
You'd have to go to the city. You'd have to go and look in code enforcement. You have to go look in cemetery plots and start looking around and see if you can find old markers.
Well, it's a family or being or persons of note, or they wouldn't be in this cemetery.
Well, we haven't had any
But there's
real
no
activity on the
records.
That's right. So
ghostometer.
how do you do that when there's no name to
If
grab
there
onto?
is-
Mostly what
any
we've
church
interacted
records
with
at all
tonight
that we have
was a little bit of
downtown.
history and some very unusual history.
If the church records still existed, they would have to
Finding out about the curse is a little bit more interesting. I don't think too many people bother to read that inscription. It's very long.
Like I said, it's now.
But those that do probably don't really think much of it, probably pass it off.
It's something, yeah, it's something sensitive.
It's put under the rug. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what Craig.
All right, this is Craig.
And hi.
Wendy.
Keith.
And we are wrapping it up here in South Carolina. We're in Charleston, where we just went checking out a haunted cemetery. And, you know, we didn't see any ghosts per se, but we did come across some interesting info and a curse. Story about a curse. Cursed people. So, what we're going to do now is research some of that and find out what we can. And we're going to plan some more trips. We're going to plan a Savannah adventure, all of us together. Savannah, the most haunted city in America.
Oh, heck yeah!
Yeah, or that's going to be in October.
New Orleans?
Oh yeah, New Orleans is pretty good, but it's like second. Some people argue with which one's better, but
I want Savannah now.
I think Savannah's a good one. Then we can hit New Orleans maybe sometime next year.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so this is Star Trek 47 signing out.
Later.